These 15 tornado encounters will show you just how fast nature can turn your world upside down. Number 15. April 2015, an ordinary spring day in Illinois, where flat highways stretch across miles of open farmland. This is Tornado Alley.
There she is! Whoa! Tornado about to happen!
Where calm skies can turn deadly in the blink of an eye. Here, tornadoes are as much a part of the landscape as the endless cornfields. On this day, the air was still and humid, the kind that makes locals glance warily at the sky, knowing the weather could shift at any moment. And it did. A man by the name of Sam Smith, a truck driver on a business trip from Minneapolis to Indiana, was driving through this heartland when the weather began to change. Heavy rain pounded down, and then came the hail, golf ball-sized chunks smashing against his windshield. Sam did what many seasoned drivers in the Midwest do. He pulled his truck under an overpass, hoping to ride out the worst of it. But as the rain hammered harder, a dark, swirling shape began to form on the horizon, twisting and growing. An all too familiar sight to those who know these roads. And then, just as the storm seemed to calm for a brief moment, this happened.
Oh, that is scary. The truck is, oh my gosh. Holy smokes. Oh no. Yeah, that is completely crazy. The truck feels like it's about to lift up off the ground. Not lying.
The tornado hit like a beast unleashed, its funnel tearing across the highway just yards ahead. The wind screamed, roaring past at over 200 miles per hour, powerful enough to rip a truck off the road and launch debris like missiles. Out here in Illinois, tornadoes are as common as thunderstorms, especially in spring when the warm air from the Gulf crashes head-on with the cold fronts sweeping down from Canada. Today, that deadly mix had whipped up a monster, and Sam was caught right in its path. Sam felt his truck rock like a toy as the tornado roared by, debris slamming against the metal. For a split second, he thought the whole rig might flip. He hung up on his son mid-sentence, his heart pounding, thinking this might be it. And then, just as fast as it came, the twister moved on, leaving his truck somehow still on its wheels. When the dust settled, the road was littered with debris, a chilling reminder of just how close it had been. Number 14. On May 14, 2011, a deceptively bright afternoon in Lukiba, Oklahoma, clear skies offered false comfort. By late morning, a powerful storm system brewed over the southern plains, priming the region for one of the most violent tornado outbreaks in recent history. Warm, moist air from the Gulf clashed with a cold front from the Rockies, creating an unstable, tense atmosphere. In the distance, a man by the name of Reed Trimmer was filming as the skies darkened and twisted above him. By midday, powerful supercells had formed, spinning into tornadoes that ripped across Oklahoma. One after another, these monstrous funnels tore through towns, leveling homes, uprooting trees, and scattering debris. But this tornado near Lukiba was something different. And then, just as the storm seemed to reach its peak, this happened.
You're fine, you're fine. Holy keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going. You're good, you're good.
Captured on video was a rare up-close look inside the violent heart of this tornado, a swirling mass of chaos and debris, moving with terrifying speed. It was one of several tornadoes that hit Oklahoma that day, leaving behind a path of destruction. The winds reached record speeds, with gusts up to 151 miles per hour, strong enough to shatter windows, uproot trees, and toss vehicles like toys. Throughout the day, over 20 tornadoes swept through Oklahoma, each one more powerful than the last. Hailstones the size of baseballs battered the land. It was a day when the skies seemed to unleash everything they had, showing just how unpredictable nature can be. Number 13. On April 29, 2022, a quiet evening in Andover, Kansas, known for its suburban calm, masked the danger ahead. In Tornado Alley, calm can be deceptive, and by then the National Weather Service had issued warnings. The air felt thick, charged, and then the storm hit. A surveillance camera at Andover City Hall captured the moment a tornado touched down, tearing through the city with winds peaking at 155 miles per hour. In minutes, the tornado ripped apart homes, scattered debris, and destroyed over 1,000 buildings. As it moved northeast for nearly 13 miles, Andover found itself directly in its path. And when it seemed like the worst had passed, this happened. For a moment, it's chaos. Buildings crumbled, trees snapped, and the sky filled with debris. Yet, miraculously, no fatalities were reported. Emergency services were quick to respond, with hundreds of airmen from nearby McConnell Air Force Base rushing in to help clear the wreckage. This wasn't Kansas's first encounter with a powerful tornado, and it won't be its last. Tornadoes here can happen anytime, often with little warning. In fact, Kansas experiences some of the highest numbers of tornadoes in the country, especially in April, May, and June, when weather conditions are most volatile. Andover's experience shows how critical preparedness and quick response are in the face of such unpredictable natural disasters. Number 12. June 25th, 2023. What began as a quiet Sunday in Greenwood, Indiana, quickly turned into a scene of chaos and destruction. A small town just south of Indianapolis was hit by a series of powerful storms sweeping through the Midwest. Indiana, known for its unpredictable weather, was on high alert. By mid-afternoon, dark clouds gathered and the first warnings were issued. Around 4:15 p.m., the first calls came in. A tornado had touched down just outside Greenwood, tearing through the area with winds powerful enough to lift debris high into the sky. In just 15 minutes, it carved a path of destruction over 4 miles long, leaving behind twisted rooftops, shattered windows, and downed power lines. Roofs peeled away, and for a moment, it seemed like the storm would consume everything in its path. In total, 75 homes were reported with moderate to severe damage, and around 10,000 residents lost power. Luckily, however, there were no serious injuries. Number 11. On May 27, 2013, Memorial Day in Smith County, Kansas, the open plains were quiet, but the sky above told a different story. In Tornado Alley, known for its sudden violent storms, storm chasers Brandon Ivy and Sean Casey were out in their custom-built Tornado Intercept vehicle, a tank designed to withstand nature's fury. This was the moment they had been waiting for. By afternoon, the conditions were perfect for a tornado. And then, near Smith Center, Kansas, a massive wedge tornado, a tornado as wide as it is tall, began to form, and the chasers found themselves directly in its path. And just when they thought they were prepared for anything, this happened. The TIV-2 was struck by the southern quadrant of the tornado, the most powerful section, with winds reaching speeds up to 170 miles per hour. Inside, Brandon and Sean braced themselves as debris slammed into the vehicle, including a piece of sheet metal that scraped across the windshield, sending sparks flying. The violent winds tore the instruments off the TIV's roof. After the tornado passed, they surveyed the damage. The exterior instruments were gone, but the TIV remained anchored in place, secured by its 4 ground spikes. The vehicle had held firm, proving its worth against the strongest tornado it had faced. Number 10. On April 27, 2011, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the super outbreak began to unfold, a day that would forever scar the state. With 62 tornadoes reported in just 18 hours, Alabama became the epicenter of one of the most violent weather events in recent memory. The National Weather Service had already warned of the potential for severe storms, but no one could have predicted the sheer magnitude of what was about to come. 2 EF5 tornadoes, the most powerful on the enhanced Fujita scale, with winds exceeding 200 miles per hour, were just beginning their deadly paths. One of these tornadoes tore through Tuscaloosa, a college town known for its vibrant community and home to the University of Alabama, thus resulting in this horrifying scene. Tuscaloosa's landscape, known for its historic buildings and lush green spaces, was suddenly under siege from one of nature's most destructive forces. Meteorologists called it a generational weather event, a day that will be remembered not only for its fury, but for the strength and solidarity it brought out in its wake. Thankfully, the unknown man recording remained in a safe area. Number 9. On May 7, 2016, in Ray, Colorado, a warm, breezy day set the stage for something extraordinary. In this small town on the Eastern Plains, the air felt charged, as if anticipating a powerful event. Conditions aligned perfectly. Upslope flow and high-altitude winds combined to create what storm chasers call high plains magic. Around 6 p.m., a meteorologist by the name of Reed Timmer, known for his daring storm chases, was racing along Highway 385, keeping his eyes on the sky. The atmosphere had that peculiar look, the kind that sends storm chasers rushing into action. A few miles away, the storm began to take shape. Spiraling bands of clouds formed a towering funnel that touched the ground with a graceful yet fearsome twist. And then, just as Timmer angled his camera toward the churning vortex, this happened. A beautiful but fierce EF2 tornado touched down near Ray, swirling dust and debris into the air, with wind speeds upwards of 130 miles per hour. The tornado, with its tall, slender form, danced across the open fields, gaining strength as it moved. Its structure was so distinct that even from miles away, it looked like a scene from a movie, an immense spiral twisting against the clear Colorado sky. Thankfully, Timmer remained unharmed. Number 8. On April 26, 2024, just about 90 minutes outside of Des Moines, Iowa, the quiet town of Harlan braced itself for what was coming. Storms had been building throughout the day as a powerful weather system moved across the Midwest. The unique geography of the region, with its open plains and flat terrain, makes this area prone to tornadoes. Conditions were ripe, and all eyes were on the sky. A man by the name of Ryan Kelly, a local storm chaser, was in the perfect place to witness nature's fury. The air felt changed, electric, as dark clouds gathered and the wind picked up speed. Around mid-afternoon, radar picked up signs of a supercell forming. Storm chasers knew this meant a tornado was likely, and they weren't disappointed. As Kelly aimed his camera toward the sky, this happened. The tornado roared across open fields, snapping power lines and tossing debris high into the air. This storm was a vivid reminder of Iowa's volatile spring weather, a mix of cold fronts clashing with warmer air from the south. Thankfully, Kelly remained unscathed. Number 7. On December 18, 2018, a cold, overcast afternoon in Port Orchard, Washington, an unusual event unfolded. Known for its calm climate, the Pacific Northwest isn't where you'd expect tornadoes. Yet warm air collided with a cooler Pacific front, creating a rare atmospheric imbalance. In a region that averages just 2.5 tornadoes a year, a December tornado was practically unheard of. As the clock struck 2 p.m., the National Weather Service began to receive reports of a swirling column touching down just south of Port Orchard. Residents watched in shock as a funnel cloud tore through their quiet town, a sight so rare it felt like a scene from another world. And then, just as the storm seemed to be losing strength, this happened. The tornado gained intensity, tearing through about 50 buildings and leaving behind what local authorities called catastrophic damage. The Kitsap County Sheriff's Office reported that the most severe impacts were concentrated to the south and east of a local Walmart. With power lines down and roads blocked, emergency responders had to navigate carefully to assess the situation. By the following morning, relief efforts were well underway, with crews working tirelessly to clear debris, restore power, and assist affected residents. Despite the damage, no injuries were reported, a testament to the community's preparedness and quick response. Number 6. On May 4, 2007, in Ellis County, Oklahoma, the quiet evening belied the storm chasers Reed Timmer and Joel Taylor's anticipation. They had been tracking a supercell forming along the dry line, where moist air meets dry air, setting up severe weather. As a tornado emerged in Roger Mills County and moved northeast towards Ellis County, Reed and Joel were positioned just 50 yards from its path, ready for the event. As the tornado barreled across the Canadian River into Ellis County, it gained strength, reaching speeds that classify it as an EF2 on the enhanced Fujita scale. And then, just as the wind howled its loudest, this happened.
It's now 4 miles the core of the storm, very potentially dangerous area within the
we're good.
northeast at about 30 miles.
Shut your door. Shut your door. Shut your door. Okay, go. Back up. Back up.
Coming, however, we do not want you out.
We're okay.
We're
okay.
Our spotters on the ground, emergency management director.
I got it.
Reed and Joel scrambled to back up their car as the tornado edges closer. In the chaos, Reed's cell phone is sucked from his hand and disappears into the vortex, lost to the storm. Moments later, they capture one of the most extraordinary close-up videos ever recorded, showing the sheer force of the tornado from just yards away. Number 5. Imagine driving down a dusty, deserted road in the Australian outback when suddenly, in the distance, you spot a willy-willy twisting its way across the red earth. For most people, this would be the cue to turn around, but not for one adventurous Aussie. On August 19, 2014, a man by the name of Terry Tufferson, filled with reckless determination, decided to get up close and personal with a tornado, just for a selfie. As the swirling column of dust intensifies, the man can be heard in his thick Aussie accent egging himself on. Far out, if I can run into this thing. He unbuckles his seatbelt, jumps out of his vehicle, and starts moving closer to the twister. But then, just as the wind starts to roar louder, this happened.
Jesus Christ! That is huge! That is absolutely huge! Get it!
The intensity, the sheer audacity of the act. It's no wonder the video quickly went viral, with millions of viewers and endless debates over its authenticity. Either way, one thing is clear. Australia's outback remains a place where nature's wild side and human curiosity collide in the most unexpected ways. Number 4. On a calm summer evening in late June 2018, a series of tornadoes formed across the wide-open plains of Carter County, Montana, and Harding County, South Dakota. One tornado in particular caught the attention of storm chasers and meteorologists alike. Just south of the small town of Capital, Montana, this tornado began its path of destruction, moving northeastward, gaining strength as it crossed the Montana-South Dakota state line. As it moved into Harding County, the tornado tore through everything in its path. Winds estimated at 136 miles per hour snapped trees and power poles like twigs, while a 5-ton tractor vanished into the sky, later discovered miles away in pieces. Sheds and barns were not just toppled, they were swept off their foundations, and even their concrete bases were shattered. Heavy hay bales, normally grounded by their weight, were lifted and scattered like autumn leaves. By the time this twister reached its peak near South Camp Crook Road, it had grown to an impressive width of 880 yards. With its EF3 rating, it became one of the most memorable tornadoes in the region that summer. Local residents were left surveying the aftermath, finding flattened fences, uprooted trees, and vehicles missing or tossed into distant fields. And then, just as the clouds began to settle and the winds grew quiet, this happened. The sky cleared, revealing a landscape forever changed, a vivid reminder of nature's unpredictable power. As the storm's memory lingers in the minds of those who witnessed it, the impact remains, a testament to the raw strength that can unfold in these vast open lands, where the unexpected is always a breath away. Number 3. June 28, 2018 was a calm evening in southeastern Montana, a place known for its wide-open spaces and rugged terrain. In the small community near Capitol, the air was thick with moisture, and the sky began to darken in that eerie way that locals have learned to recognize. Out here, storms can brew quickly, transforming a calm landscape into a scene of natural drama in minutes. A series of thunderstorms had formed along the Montana-South Dakota state line, with the warm, unstable air rising rapidly. Conditions were just right for what meteorologists call tornado genesis. The first funnel cloud appeared near 48 Mile Creek, 10 miles south-southwest of Camp Crook. With winds estimated at 136 miles per hour, this tornado was on its way to becoming a force to be reckoned with. And then, as the wind picked up and the trees began to sway, this happened. The tornado touched down and tore across the Montana plains, gaining strength as it moved. It crossed South Camp Crook Road, snapping power poles, uprooting trees, and scattering farm machinery. One massive 5-ton tractor was lifted off the ground and vanished, with pieces later found miles away. As it moved toward the South Dakota border, it left a path of destruction. This tornado was later classified as an EF3, its winds peaking at around 136 miles per hour. Despite the power of the storm, there were no reports of serious injuries. Number 2. October 23, 2017, Spartanburg, South Carolina. What started as a regular Monday afternoon quickly became a moment etched into the town's memory. In this vibrant city, known for its historical charm and bustling industries, things were about to change in an instant. The day seemed normal. Workers were going about their routines, unaware that nature had other plans. Just as the sun began to dip behind the horizon, casting long shadows across the city, this happened. A sudden EF2 tornado with winds roaring at 110 miles per hour touched down without warning. Concrete and steel crumbled like paper, and the structure was reduced to rubble within seconds. Panicked workers, caught off guard, ran for their lives as the winds closed in. While the warehouse was left in ruins, miraculously, no one was harmed. The storm was so quick that there was barely a moment to react, leaving many to reflect on how unpredictable life can be. Power outages stretched across the city, and the cleanup efforts began almost immediately. Number 1. On June 20th, 2011, storm chasers in Nebraska anticipated an exciting day. The plains around Pleasanton were alive with the buzz of an impending storm, as warm, moist air from the southeast set the stage for severe weather. Meteorologists were on alert, but no one could have predicted how unusual this storm would turn out to be. A man by the name of Pecos Hank, a seasoned chaser, positioned himself near Pleasanton, Nebraska, ready to capture whatever the skies had in store. Unlike most tornadoes that generally move northeast, this one had a different idea. It shifted southwest, almost pausing in its path before suddenly veering east. And then, just as Hank prepared his camera, this happened.
Tornado warning for north-central Buffalo County and south-central Nebraska, southwestern Sherman County and central Nebraska will 5:15 p.m. Central. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued at 5:15 p.m. Central Daylight at 4:38 p.m. Central Daylight. Large cone tornado. 3 miles east. Include after the Litchfield. Take cover now. Closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Repeating, a tornado warning remains in effect until 5:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following county. Land winds and possibly tornadoes. Be prepared to act quickly should a tornado occur or a tornado warning be issued. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 4:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the following county. Sherman County.
A tornado touched down less than 75 yards away. For a brief but intense 5 minutes, it displayed multiple vortices, each twisting and churning with powerful winds. The tornado, while relatively short-lived, showed the unpredictable nature of storms in Tornado Alley. It moved erratically, blowing debris and sending gusts of winds powerful enough to obscure visibility. At its closest point, it almost seemed playful. A kiss from Mother Nature herself. Thankfully, Hank remained unscathed. If you thought these tornado encounters were eerie, then these 34 earthquakes that will give you anxiety promise moments so intense you'll feel the tremors through your screen.